Hi and welcome to CBTV. In 2008, Afghan refugee Esmatullah Sharifi faced charges for allegedly raping 2 women in Victoria. Last year, Sharifi pleaded guilty. He was tried in an Australian court and sentenced to 14 years in jail. Recently, it was reported that Sharifi has been granted leave to appeal one of the rape cases. He's going to appeal his sentence on the grounds that he did not understand that what he was doing was wrong due to cultural differences. Now, during the initial trial, a psychologist said that Sharifi had, and I quote, an unclear concept of what constitutes consent in sexual relationships in Australia. The victim alleged that Sharifi treated her like a willing participant in spite of her screaming and calling for help. 5 days later, Sharifi raped a second woman. In the initial hearing, the defence lawyer argued that Sharifi, who arrived in Australia on a temporary protection visa in 2001, did not understand the concept of consent and was not familiar with forming relationships with women. The original judge to preside over the case did not accept this defence. He said, and I quote, "The offence committed by you was an extremely serious act of violence, and in my opinion you well knew the victim was not consenting. You have no remorse or insight into your offending," end quote. Yet Court of Appeal Justice Robert Redlich has granted leave to appeal after considering the victim's statement that Sharifi treated her like a willing participant and then proceeded to drive her home. Now, this is yet another example of our society and our legal system being asked to accommodate others' cultural views. How is it possible that someone who has lived here for 12 years does not know what behaviour is acceptable here in Australia? And what does this say about our courts' ability and their willingness to enforce the cultural norms of our society? Now, people come to Australia because it is a wonderful place to live. Our principles, our values and our institutions have given us that. And if we fail to defend the values, the principles and the cultural mores that have served our country so well, we're doing an extreme disservice to future generations and the future stability of our society. I'm Cory Bernardi. That's CBTV for this week.